Chongqing now finds itself at the hands of a Game 1 loss against JD Gaming. They're trying their best to upset it and bring us back to a Game 3. And I feel like Yagao, during that break screen graphic, really signified what happened the best. Just with the hand on his head, the classic outsmarting, outthinking Snake in that Game 1.
And outsmarted.
Yeah.
My favorite part, though, is how it came in on a close-up of Zoom.
Yeah, well, look, we're close, but you can't get 100% strike rate without missing a few along the way. Actually, I think that's actually the opposite. I think it's impossible to get 100% strike rate if you do miss a few.
And credit to Coach Ohm behind them. You can see him right now standing behind Clid, former coach of Team WE when they went to semifinals at Worlds.
Yeah.
He recently helped JD dismantle his previous organization. ...
Question mark. Perhaps correlation.
Thinky face. But ultimately, you've seen an evolution of JD Gaming, that they've kind of found their 5th gear, and it's a question of if they have a 6th gear. We know that they are at least top 4 in the LPL, and you'll notice that I said top 4, so who does that mean that they're better than?
Rogue Warriors.
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
You would give, okay.
Who's the next one?
EDG?
Edward Gaming. I think JD Gaming are going to prove very soon that they are better than Edward Gaming at this point in time, but they still need to focus on taking down Snake first.
Nofe would like to have a word with you, Indiana.
Well, Coach Ohm's about to have a word with him.
As answer, of course. But now we're trying to see if JD can close out this series against Snake. During the spring split, the Snake Pit was notorious for taking down massive names in game after game. Snake in their brand new arena had found a new momentum and a new fire in front of their new fans in Chongqing. But now, in the summer split, things are telling a bit of a different story. They're 6-4 right now. This loss would put them at 6-5 if they drop this game here. We are on match point. And things might not be going quite as peachy keen for Snake as they were in summer.
They've effectively kind of lost some of that momentum and synergy. Of course, bringing in the new ADC Light, having that experimentation phase of Hudier and Maestro running 2 supports. I think it's just a matter of time before Snake get back up and running on all cylinders. The problem is that Snake have never reached to the same heights that JD Gaming have, and it must just burn if JD Gaming take them down and Snake think, this is what we were supposed to be. We were supposed to be a top team in the LPL, and it just never came to fruition.
It even makes it more confusing when you have to consider what style Snake choose to play. We've still got Light on the roster, so it's not Maestro and Hudier, but there still is the potential for Snake to try to fall back to those funnel strategies with SOFM that have been largely hit or miss, that are less on Snake's performance, but more their opponent's performance playing against it. So it is unsurprising instead to see the Orianna pick up once again for Snake. There still is room for a funnel, but if Snake follow a similar strategy to Game 1, they could just be trying to go back to something safe.
I don't think we're going to see a funnel. I think it's going to go back into the hands of Light, and we're going to see a very stock standard composition, a 5v5 composition from them again, but I want to see more ferocity come out of SOFM. I know he's more so a tracking jungler, that he likes to maneuver around the map, maneuver around his opponent and deny him a lot of things, but I want to see him duel this Kindred, or at least have some sort of kill pressure there or an answer.
Instead, it looks like Snake are going to go for the counter pick composition. Again, we see that Kindred picked up by Clid. Shen will go through pick and ban this time for JD. They banned it on blue side in Game 1 and then got to pick it up red side in Game 2. So I'm sure they're feeling pretty happy about that. But now we're looking at SOFM. What is he going to try to take against this Kindred here? Or are Snake going to show us that they might prioritize something other than the jungle? And that is truly an outrageous concept for Snake.
What's so outrageous to me is that neither of these teams seem to have a priority on Swain. It used to be that giving over the Shin-Swain combo was just auto-death. And maybe it's because Loken just cannot play it, or it's just not a viable option for him, but instead choosing to deny the Morgana, set up their bot lane, and then showcase that it's Guoguo's Orianna.
Yeah, that's a very interesting show. That does mean that a lot of information is given over to JD. They could start looking for a counter pick, and instead JD are going to secure themselves a safe top lane.
Already out of the first 3 picks, I feel like JD Gaming just sprinted circles around Snake in the draft phase. They see what the bottom lane's going to be, they see that Guoguo has shown his hand, and now they grab the Mundo, and from this ban phase, they can ban both Gnar and Kennen. or Darius if they want to. Also another bad matchup for Mundo. And then just force Flandre onto something like a Gangplank and be like, okay, I'll see you late game.
Great. We'll meet you there as we try to race through that early game and, of course, the mid game. Now we're looking to see what SOFM and Flandre are going to take. It's so interesting to see those go so far back into the draft. There must be some large priority strategy perhaps that Snake are looking for. Maybe a Wombo combo if they try to look for a Yasuo for SOFM with a funnel?
I mean, possibly. I don't think it's going to be a funnel. I think you already have your ball delivery system, and unless this is something nuts like Morgana jungle, which I doubt.
SOFM.
Then
You got a caveat.
You're waiting for your counter picks to be for Flandre. Curious about the Kled ban. I don't like the fact that Gnar is still available.
Flandre very good on the champion right now, and we've also been seeing a lot more of Gnar resurgence in the LPL in general. Also been making a showing in the LCK. But now we're going to see what this is going to be. I'm also curious to see how JD decide to pick this next phase, because they know it's going to be pushing against that Morgana Alistar. Do they just pick Loken here and save that counter pick for Yagao?
It'd be cool if they grabbed a hold of Vladimir, especially because they banned Darius and Kled, and then it's just kind of one good night, sweet prince to Flandre, picked another one of his champions away, but it's not super crucial. I just think it'd be kind of a cute little nod.
Well, here we go. Ezreal is the marksman of choice for Loken. You can see he smiles. That's an old signature pick for him. He's a big fan of the champion. Of course, his #1 goes back to Jinx way back in the day. But speaking of a Jade champion, Flandre gets a chance to return towards his Jax, with which he has carried before in the past. And you can hear the crowd. They want the same thing out of SOFM as you do.
Trundle, come on. Oh, no.
Sejuani locked in once again. The carry onus is on Flandre and Guoguo.
SOFM just likes Sejuani more than Trundle, although I would prefer Trundle in this composition. I'm glad that Flandre, he feels the pinch, he goes back to another bruiser-oriented champion, so wanting to step 2 against Zoom and really apply kill pressure there.
But now Yagao gets his pick of the litter. Counter pick against Orianna. He wants this LeBlanc, and the rookie of the split from 2018 spring. Now gets a chance to challenge Guoguo on the Rift.
LeBlanc also makes a lot more sense in tandem with Ezreal. Both these champions have high poke properties to them and how they play around towers and play around team fights. And so far, JD Gaming have a lot of different power points across different points of the map. You know, they've got some early game potential, they have great mid-game power spikes, and then they can also scale into the late game. So I feel like it's a really balanced composition, which really wasn't an option for them in game #1. So learning and shoring up from their mistakes.
Whereas Snake, it looks like they're investing fully in that late game 5v5. We want to stack up, we want to group up and catch as many people in the Shockwave Jax as possible. Or, even better, just look for the 4-1 and allow that Jax to split push and let Flandre do his thing in a side lane.
But you're also still missing some of those balance points. You know, you talk about the side lane, you talk about the late game, the Wombo combo, the 5v5.
They need to make it there.
Yeah, but what about that early game?
Against a LeBlanc.
JD Gaming just ran through them, so we'll see if Snake have something else, if they're able to front or stall some of this bleeding out, if they can get more, get a bit more gold funneled onto SOFM, and hopefully get Flandre a lot of attention on that Jax.
Yeah, I mean, our eyes were on SOFM for that game 1. The fact that he played so passive. Excuse me.
Bless you.
That's why we have cough buttons.
I think you just go full sneeze onto the microphone next time.
Just blow out everyone's speakers back at home.
Headset users,
no,
beware.
but we do have to watch. Yeah, exactly. Right in your ears, ladies and gentlemen. And coming at you live from the Shanghai Arena. The Sneeze, brought to you by Dom. No, but we're still looking for SOFM because we were a little bit disappointed in how he pathed in that game 1. It seemed slow and passive, not decisive. He recalled at odd times and gave up double objectives. And I'm fairly certain that keyboard is from 1975.
He's just got some nice keycaps on it.
Yeah.
Leave Flandre out of this.
I'm pretty sure that he could try to hack into the government mainframe, MS-DOS, through a back door. You ever see War Games with Matthew Broderick?
I've definitely seen that. It is the best hacking movie ever made.
It's so good. Anyways, we're getting into this game. Let's hear from the crowd once again. So, Froskurin, would you like to play a game?
What's the game?
No, that's the line from
Oh, I see.
War Games.
I got it.
That's called follow-up.
See, mine went to Saw, and I was like, no.
Maybe the voice was a bit too deep for that. The name of the computer, oh, I forget. It was Matthew, I think. Ah, well. Long time. It's been a while. It's been a long time for Matthew Broderick as well.
It's an 80s classic, and I have
really
to
is.
say that if you were in Ready Player One, you would have failed immediately right now.
Hey, that's a different conversation. Also, anyways, let's get into this game. You can see the forceful redirect. Clid is going to be starting off with his red buff. We also see a red start out of SOFM. Double ward onto that bottom side Scuttle Crab and a single ward out of Snake on that top side as well. So controlling that vision very early on. Whereas JD, they're prioritizing bottom lane control by pushing in real quick. Are they trying to contest Scuttle Crab if SOFM wants to get in there? I mean, look at that. Lumao's even ducking in to try.
They're also placing a lot of safety vision, but level 2 gank top with red.
Yeah.
There's the flash.
That's the flash. Flandre backs it up, and Clid decides to let him go with that red buff. Even marks him. As SOFM is on this side of the map. Level 2 versus level 2 for those junglers. Yagao actually lands the Ethereal Chains. Does have Electrocute, but it was on cooldown.
So Flandre manages to have some fancy footwork, holds on to his life, but not to his flash, and it's simply because SOFM is on top side of the map that JD Gaming decide to disengage. Now, while SOFM is on top side of the map, Flandre needs to reset that wave real quick, get it back neutralized, and get him back into safety, whereas, speaking of safety, bot lane, still in full control.
Yeah, happily pushing away into Light and Maestro. They know that once you start getting a few levels in the Tormented Soil, which Light did start with the Dark Binding, it's going to become much easier to push it back in that favor, as Flandre just ducked into Tribush to make sure that he was safe from any potential ganks from Clid before heading back into that lane. But like you said, it's going to be real dicey as that resets back, and immediately Clid racing bottom. We saw the first Scuttle go to SOFM. He took the 50-50, taking the top one, but it is the bottom Scuttle that has been marked.
And now you recognize why they shoved so hard in the early game, so they could get some deep vision up into this river, make sure that they prioritize getting that Scuttle Crab for Clid, and he also gets a mark.
Ooh, what a setup by JD. They were prepped top with a push, they were prepped bottom with a push, and while they will get their Raptors invaded by SOFM, which has never happened before in the history of League of Legends, they do start to snowball that. Sorry, my sarcasm is coming through here. I can see you rolling your eyes over there.
No more.
Yeah.
You get to use that one twice a day, Dom, and you're about 5 over.
All right, all right. SOFM, he's actually going to try to catch Zoom here. No Counter-Strike just yet. There it is. But a late flash gets Zoom under his turret, and the second slow for even more.
Now both flashes missing.
Ooh, that's the Electrocute and another Ethereal Chain. For a bit more damage onto Guoguo, who's doing a much better job pushing into this lane. Of course, LeBlanc not having the best early laning phase. That's why we do see a teleport take to get back into that lane and sustain.
We could play Raz's favorite game, which is count the corrupting potions. There's only 2.
There's only 2. That's all right. Great game. GG. Remake?
Yep.
All right.
Here comes Lumao. He's got flash. He's got ignite. He wants this one
I
dead.
don't know if that ping did catch it. Ooh.
He was trying to get the flash.
He was looking at it.
Just faking him out, seeing if Orianna's going to blink first.
But Guoguo holds his ground, knows he's got the barrier, and that LeBlanc is at low health and mana, which would be quite risky if she decided to step forward. But that means Lumao now has to walk through this wave, and there's the counter push that I was just talking about. That Tormented Soil pushes in the waves so quickly and so easily for the Morgana that it makes it tough to try to counter that sort of pressure.
I mean, the cool thing with Ezreal and Shen is that they're never going to control this lane through their pushing power. Morgana and Alistar will always be able to outpush them. Well, Morgana, don't even need the Alistar in tandem with that. But how they have control of this lane is when they get access into the back line, they can stand on the back of those caster creeps, and they can start poking and threatening the kill pressure. So the lane dynamics very well could shift back as long as Loken and Lumao position correctly and start landing some of this poke.
And this is where we look to Maestro's positioning on that Alistar to get the Triumph counter. Now Zoom is going mano-a-mano and gets first blood as he is able to bait Flandre into a fight, but his jungler was coming, and SOFM was invading.
Perfect timing. SOFM may get some sort of counter revenge here. Zoom is still relatively low. No flash.
Level 6 and the sadism. Like you said, no flash. There's Clid.
That's a
SOFM,
really
which
big
target
minion
is he
wave.
going for? Like you said, lots of minion wave damage. SOFM is going in as well. The teleport is going to get the bottom lane in here as Loken appears to slow onto Flandre. Remember, no flash. He goes down again.
Oh, disaster here for Snake, and I love the follow-up from Loken. Doesn't even hesitate, pulls the trigger on the teleport, and that's now a lot of damage.
Uh-oh.
Oh, tower, no!
That's a little bit of an oopsie. SOFM trades that kill over and even gets the flash out of Loken, but still, he's happy to push this in as that massive minion wave might be taking first brick.
And here comes Lumao. He's like, guys, it's no problem. I'm here to save the day. We even have Yagao rotating up into the river, and it's causing a lot of confidence issues for Snake. They don't see where LeBlanc is, and you can actually check that Maestro is placing vision off into the side, but these crucial seconds, again, are costing them this tower. I don't think it's going to be first brick, but it's like a stiff breeze away from falling down.
Yeah, interesting that they decide to extend the lane, knowing that they've got that push pressure onto it. Lumao steps up. Will be eating a stun. That's a bit risky, Lumao. Eats himself a knock-up as Flandre just takes a few hits with the poke. There goes the wave. Now they're finally set to finish it off, just trying to deny minions. And that will mean that Light gets a little bit more of a push against Zoom in the bottom lane as Loken finally finishes it off and even gets solo gold.
Oh, 7-minute top tier tower. We're going to see how that went all calculated down. First and foremost, like you were talking about, a massive minion wave. So they were already perfectly fine to fight there. There's then also access to the Mundo ultimate. So he starts to get a lot of that health back. Loken commits to his TP because it's a multiple teleport composition. So now they have a numbers advantage. And then with the rotation from Yagao costing Maestro crucial seconds to get up to the tower and defend it, it's a massive swing for JD Gaming. Less than 8 minutes in, and we already have a 2K gold lead.
And look at the trade-off now, as a mark was just on the Gromp for Clid. I'm not sure if he was able to get that as we were in the replay, but the wave is pushed in. Flandre is now in a long side lane, which is that Jax is happy to do, as he can just farm up and get towards late game, but that effectively removes him from any upcoming fights that JD might want to take, especially with that cooldown for teleport at only half.
Which is why it's so curious that SOFM's like, yes,
I will invade now.
this is the moment I invade.
That's it.
When I have no teleport.
Mid lane is pushing in. I will take their Gromp.
He gets out. But,
Tactical.
oh my goodness.
The only person who could do that is SOFM. To be fair, what is the win of that?
Well, his mid laner wanted to back, so he didn't want to go to blue buff and then waste crucial seconds on the blue being in spawn if Orianna wants to back and spend gold.
More efficient pathing. And now he's actually down in lane with Glacial Storm, and Light is also level 6 with Flash plus Stopwatch, so we could get Flash Soul Shackles.
And, I mean, he did have the window to do it. About 10 seconds and it would have been closed. But I guess credit to SOFM that he knows the intricacies of those timings so well.
Yeah. But still, the wave just pushes in so very quickly. And with the safe ward placed by JD's bottom lane, the control ward even in the lane, they know not to risk it. They just catch the minions as it pushes into the turret. And that means that Yagao gets to trade a little bit more with Guoguo. I love watching the ethereal chains miss, because then it just kind of goes off into the distance like, ooh, missed it.
Doesn't feel great.
No, it does not. But it looks hilarious.
I love how much JD Gaming are sacrificing and trying to snowball the rest of their team and snowball the map for Kindred chasing down a lot of these marks.
Yeah. Once we get that Kindred back on the screen, we'll get a chance to check those marks. As Yagao happily pushing in.
There she goes.
Taking some trades.
So a mark was on the Scuttle Crab on the top side of the map, but then it was denied, which is why Clid started pathing up there because he wanted it. Now that he doesn't have access, he's like, okay, guys, if we must snowball the rest of the game. And then starts walking back towards his bottom lane.
Yeah, was spotted as he made his way over. Oh, and look at that. The next mark is Gromp by SOFM. Bit of a tragedy, but hey, that means that Cloud Dragon can be taken by JD once again. Even so kind as to pull it out as the bottom lane is now pushing it in. But SOFM, he has adapted his pathing. He's making his way down to this bottom side of the map, along with Guoguo, and they're taking the Raptor camp. So I don't think they can contest that. Yeah. I mean, he was spotted by Light and Maestro.
They knew that he was there. It was just
Yeah.
it didn't matter because it was a Cloud Dragon. And so it was more so about clearing out the vision. You could see that in that time, while they didn't contest Cloud, they did remove a lot of the control wards behind the Dragon Pit.
Upside, it was a decisive play from Snake, Gorgo, and SOFM. Downside, not sure if it was the correct decision. But hey, like you said, it's a Cloud Dragon.
Yeah,
It's
they
movement
chose to make the trade, so
Is it better to choose than not at all?
yes.
Okay. I think those are the lyrics to a song I heard once. That's it. We can talk about the game now.
No, I want to hear more about the song though.
Even Flandre's taking the grump over here.
You backed out real quick.
I don't actually remember the lyrics. I know it's Reference City. Anyways. Still, it's a nice slow game. 2,000 gold lead for JD as they're only 1,000 gold ahead. Looking to snowball just a little bit more. Yagao still not completing any major items.
We're looking for this dive.
Glacial Storm is ready.
I'm not really about this SOFM. You know that that's a Shen and a Kindred. If you don't have any vision on them and you attempt to dive and you just get countered or hard countered by Stand United into Lamb's Respite, good night, sweet prince.
Ever the the tragedy of Darth SOFM the Wise.
That's what his children will remember him as.
Yes.
I was ahead of my time. I was the Time Lord Ginja of the LPL. You have no idea.
That's way back in the day. But still, just calm, slow games. We're watching these junglers maneuver around each other. Yagao dropping that distortion and the ethereal chains for a little bit more. Gorgo's starting to not like this matchup as he does have that null magic mantle.
I mean, the nice thing is Orianna versus LeBlanc, especially because she has teleport as opposed to having a kill summoner, shouldn't just outright kill her, especially because Orianna has access to barrier. So there's at least protection from that.
Now we do see the Rift Herald being started off by Clid and Zoom. They've chunked it down to half, but they are directly on top of a ward. SOFM, level 7 with the smite and a teleport to get in there. He's actually going to try taking this as Flash is used, and JD run for the hills. They do not want to fight this, seeing the collapse from Snake. And Rift Herald is picked up, but that does mean there is push pressure bottom from Loken and Lumao.
A much better read this time around from Snake as opposed to game one. It looks like we're finally getting some decisive action and decisive calls. They're fine not to completely take control over this early game. They have so much team fight power, so much crowd control in their composition. And at this point, they don't really want to bait out Flandre into a 5v5. They'd still like to have him sit into that side lane, get closer to, relevant itemization versus what he has now.
I mean, he's got the Phage. He gets bonus movement speed when he hits things. That's helpful. Plus some daggers for more hitting things. The combination is flawless. Loken, though, he's already got that completed Triforce on the opposite side, so not quite exactly even. And with the 2-1-1 from Zoom, he's also pretty big. Now, Clid is prowling around. He did mark Flandre there. A quick counterattack will deny some of this damage, but still, Clid is set to dive, chunks him down to half.
And they see that SOFM has actually shown his face up onto the bottom side of the map, so this should be a fairly easy call for JD Gaming to absorb the pressure from Snake bot side, and then allow JD Gaming to run away with the top side of the map. SOFM shouldn't be able to translate this into a dive, but possibly steal away the blue buff.
Already, though, you can see Loken and Lumao are set to collapse, but from the other side, here comes Light and Maestro. The flash, two-man knockup. Lumao not caught by the binding as Loken flashes away. Yagao's getting in. It's a double teleport. Lumao goes golden. Will inevitably die as Flandre finds that kill onto Loken. The bottom lane is dead as Snake collapses a 5-man. Zoom caught in the binding. Shockwave is going to whiff. But hey, JD, they are way out of position and they are going to pay.
Disaster from JD Gaming. I have no idea what Loken and Lumao were thinking there. They may have just cost themselves
a lot.
I don't want to say the game, but that was a pretty big error.
Oh, there's the teleport to get in. Herald will be cleaned up in time to keep the turret standing, but that's a lot of damage that Snake have just opened up off of JD's error.
That's a mistake that you never make again. There's no reason for them to walk up the river. That's them just being greedy, thinking that they can even contest for the blue buff instead of just letting it go. Yeah.
Perhaps a bit of hubris. Again, JD is a team that so far they have only had a single game go 2-0 in their favor out of 8 wins. Only a single one has been 2-0. All of the others have been 2-1.
Yeah, but a lot of people credit that to experimentation, which I do not buy. This is not a composition that's experimenting. That was simply just a bad decision.
Ooh, that's Stand United. Flandre, will get popped by the Electrocute. Yagao managing to catch the Ethereal Chains. Lumao trying to chase SOFM down. Clid hunting down the kill and finds it. The Mark Maestro with a 3-man knockup. 3-man, 1 clone. Will keep himself alive with the Unbreakable Will walk away, but a chaotic trade back puts JD back in the lead with kills and gold.
Snake, never one to be outdone, prove that no, we can feed even better. No, it's fine. JD Gaming still really big error. The silver lining is that their mid tower didn't fall. If it had done, I was like, oh
That would've been
wow,
bad, yeah.
that is a devastating maneuver to happen at 15 minutes. But some good news, it didn't. Infernal in 13 seconds. That should be the next point of power for both these teams.
Glass half full, glass half full. Ooh,
Oh.
Ethereal Chains is
Back up,
going
back
to miss.
up.
Yeah. Gorgo walks away. Like you said, that Infernal is spawning. And 3,000 gold lead for JD as they get ready for that. Again, the Sunfire finished off for Zoom. Ludens is ready for Yagao as he makes his way out of base.
But scary thing is that JD Gaming aren't necessarily the strongest right now. I actually weight towards Snake's composition, and theirs is much easier to execute. The one advantage is that Mundo is currently in this area where Jax is not, so it looks like Snake have just kind of forfeited the Infernal. But if Snake were in position, if they were ready to fight this, you know, that's a level 11 Orianna. You have a lot more, or at least your defensive summoners there. Jax has his itemization. He's got the Trinity for the Merc Treads. I could have gone the other way.
It very well could have. But that's not what we see this time, as Yagao is trying to defend his turret against Flandre. That's a little zealous. Ethereal Chains, that's 1 distortion, and Flandre's dead. All right. That was a lot. There goes the Sigil of Malice. Another Ethereal Chains. SOFM, he's got the ultimate. There he goes, finally lands the stun. The clone backs it up. And Yagao will decide not to chase that Sejuani down as Yagao just went 1v2 and walked away with a kill.
Everyone is losing their minds this game. I feel like things get a little bit silly. Maybe it's really hot in Chongqing. I don't know.
It is summertime. Summertime madness.
Yep, that's the song that's playing right now.
Could be a thing, yeah. And here it is again. Flandre pushes the turret. Yagao clears the minion wave. And where does the damage come from? Does he just stack up the Sigil and Electrocute?
Well, Flandre also takes, what, 3 tower shots?
Yeah, that's a lot.
3 tower shots as well as the LeBlanc burst damage. But take a look at the map. Why is Flandre up there? They don't have any vision. They have a single control ward behind the red buff, but otherwise the entire neutral vision line is controlled by JD Gaming.
I think he was trying to pull SOFM up there to look for a counterplay or something. Because SOFM was already pathing up towards that side of the map, maybe just looking for JD's Krugs. And Flandre tried to pull him up there for the outplay, but didn't end up working out because Yagao is pretty big on that LeBlanc. 5 stacks on the Dark Seal, finishing off that Ludens, looking now for what seems to be a Void Staff second.
And now it's only going to get worse. So the poke and siege potential for JD, especially as all that gold is being funneled onto LeBlanc, that much scarier.
Especially when it is Yagao, who has been stepping up. Again, rookie of the split in spring. Putting up some massive performances here as well in summer on the likes of Zoe, Aurelia. It's no surprise that that skill set transfers over to LeBlanc. That was also True Shot Barrage used bottom.
I love Clid's focus face.
He is in the zone. Auto zone. Whoa, hey, oh no, he was recalling, okay. I was like, don't take your hands off the keyboard there, Clid. Need to be ready. Wow, that's already a lot of damage. That's 2 items on the Ezreal and 2 Qs get light to half health. 2 Mystic shots.
Yagao flirting with danger though.
Yeah.
Finally, we've got vision control on the right side of the map for Snake that they're actually playing within. So SOFM trying to find this LeBlanc.
He's looking. Perhaps trying to target down that mid laner that has been so effective. Oh man, I love how he waits for the command attack before going in.
Just so there's not a lot of trade potential.
Oh yeah. It's always so risky because once you use that distortion, you have to pop back to the same spot. But SOFM playing with the vision of JD. I don't believe he's been spotted yet, though. Guoguo did disappear from that mid lane, so JD know that something is up.
And so what JD Gaming are doing is just holding their lanes. They've parked all of the pushing, and they're just allowing the lanes to naturally fall. They know that Loken and Lumao will take this tower as long as they're not interrupted by SOFM. And so they're just making sure that they have a nice little security blanket, hovering around before them, rotating when needed, but otherwise they just held lanes, forced Snake to face them, and took the free objective.
There they go, breaking down that bottom tier 1 turret. With top pushed in by Zoom and the roam from Yagao, the last tier 1 standing for JD to take is the mid tier 1. And it's an easy rotation for the team to collapse if they want to. And already we can see a lot of triangle vision set up on this bottom half of the map, though there is that deep ward on the red buff to watch these rotations.
This could be a dive.
Looks like Klid is instead just going to hop out of it and allow Loken to keep pushing bottom. As he's on that Ezreal, he's happy to just keep chucking these shots at Flandre.
There has to be a break point here for Snake. Either they're going to get frustrated and then just start throwing out ultimates and one of them's going to connect, and if they miss, then JD Gaming can continue to sit and siege in this formation. Again, the poke properties of both LeBlanc and Ezreal, they're totally fine to split the map like this and just be that obnoxious mosquito to Snake.
Little known fact, mosquitoes are actually Snake's greatest weakness.
I feel like mosquitoes are everyone's greatest weakness. I don't know about you, but I'm covered in mosquito bites.
Yeah, especially here in Shanghai right now. All right,
This
there
is
they go.
not
Now they're looking for Zoom. He
the
already
pick
flashed away. They got the Dark Binding.
that you
He's
want.
got Mercury Treads. They're still chasing onto him. Look, they'll get him. They'll get him. That's the flash knockup. Another Dark Binding and the Stand United and the stun. But
Look.
Black Shield and Flandre, and finally they get it. And uh-oh, now Lumao is on the wrong side of this. Flandre follows up a secondary stun and the Dark Binding and a tertiary stun. Meanwhile, the inhibitor, Yagao is getting in on the action. He finds a kill onto Flandre, but the bottom inhibitor turret was taken by Loken.
But meanwhile, everything is on fire. Okay, the house is on fire, and the kids came and played on their lawn, and Snake exited the house to chase the children off their lawn while the house was burning down behind them.
This is not okay. I mean, they got the kills, and wait. Mid-tier 1, they get the trade. That's it.
Yeah.
2 turrets for 1.
That's the trade.
That's the trade.
That was the long-term plan.
That's it.
Snake are like, it's fine. We're going to trade 2 kills.
You take
We're
out
gonna
the
get
50-year investment. You take out the long-term stocks and bonds.
The housing market crashed, Dom.
The bubble is bursting.
It wasn't worth it.
Don't worry. The bubble, give it another 100 years, it'll build back up.
But I didn't think we were going to see that type of frustration coming out of Snake. I was like, you know, Snake, they're going to just start throwing ultimates. They don't like to sit in this maneuver. They're going to be, you know, they're getting annoyed by what JD Gaming are doing, but they just hard committed. They saw the mosquito and they came out with a frying pan.
With the flamethrower.
Exactly. All of it must die.
And then the house ended up burning down. Well, we got the mosquito. As Yagao leaps past. It was never just one mosquito. It was 5 of them.
And now it's double Infernal and they've contested nothing.
No. I feel like this house burning down allegory is starting to take on a new meaning for Snake.
Oh, it's just...
Yeah. Well,
it's confusing because Snake, they are a good team in the Western Conference.
Well,
this is
hold on now.
This is 3rd place versus 3rd place. This is supposed to be very back and forth, hyper competitive.
Yeah, but that's always the question between the two conferences. How do you compare their relative strength when they only play each other once in cross conference?
Which is why I feel very confident to say that JD Gaming are the 4th best team in the LPL.
Okay, because Snake are that much further below them because the West Conference is further down comparatively than the East Conference.
The Western Conference is just getting slapped around now, which in record it's not that bad, but when you look at where the wins are coming through, especially when our top teams or the top end is facing off, it is just, it is getting wildly out of control.
Well, I mean, sometimes flying by the seat of your pants is still technically flying.
But we're in a position right now where a former Eastern Conference team in Rogue Warriors is 1st place in the Western Conference.
I'm not saying coincidence. Perhaps just a correlation.
Get the tinfoil hats.
Exactly. Oh boy, but now we're 25 minutes into the game. Like you said, double Infernal Dragon. Baron is up. Snake are setting up some vision around that as Maestro and SOFM are trying to clear it out and defend the best they can, but still, it is looking dire indeed for Snake as JD, they're 6,000 gold ahead. They've pushed all the way to the inhibitor in the bottom lane. Zoom is sitting down there with Teleport. He's getting to be the unkillable status of Mundo. Sunfire, Spirit Visage, and... Excuse me. Look, I committed to that one. You made fun of me for not sneezing earlier. Committed to that one.
You're gonna go full force on the mic.
Warning to all viewers with headsets. Coming to you live from the Shanghai Arena, Dom burping and sneezing. Ooh, it's an eventful day for body language.
There's a lot of bodily functions that I do not want to be a part of right now.
And Snake are trying to defend right now.
What they're doing
Look, it happens to everyone, okay?
is playing Farmville right now. Flandre has no perception about where this game is. He's like, this is great, guys.
Right over the wall. There was a ball right there.
Meanwhile, Guoguo's like, I wish I had a blue buff once this game.
One time. Blue buff one time. Oh, but no blue buff. I believe that was marked as well. He did get the mark for that. Yeah, that was marked.
Oh no.
Yagao. Ooh, that's the ethereal chains. Flandre. He does have a ward that he can leap to. There he goes. That's the distortion. Stun will land onto Yagao, but look at this. Zoom is on the prowl. Sadism for movement speed, the ethereal chains, and Zoom gets the kill.
Zoom, all me.
Running him down. Oh, yeah. There it is, the Gargoyle Stone Plate. That's the one I was looking for.
And now, this is when Flandre looks towards his mid laner. No missing ping.
His mid laner is like, we haven't been in standard lanes for 10 minutes, dude. Ah, yes, classic solo queue arguments.
That's what Snake look like right now, a solo queue team, which is devastating. Because again, back to my big point, they used to be really good, not 2 weeks ago.
And it was Flandre on this Jack, so it must be a bit of a confidence, a blow to his confidence to be 2-6-2.
And the frustration for me is that it just doesn't feel like the same Snake. You know, you see a very stock standard, you know, the fact that they brought Light back in, that it's not Maestro, that's not Houdier. You're thinking about the explosive back and forth Snake team fighting that made them such a powerhouse team in the Western Conference, and especially against a team like JD Gaming. And with a composition like this, like Snake should be trying to force these team fights, but they just can't quite figure out how to manufacture that on the map. And instead they're getting split out, they're making weird target selections in their picks, they're not grouping up and using their 5v5 strategy. After the 2 games that we've seen, Snake have team fought twice, and they built a team fight composition in both games.
And now we've got nearly 50, 60 minutes of gameplay, and we're not seeing it. Now they are turning onto the Baron. They do not have a Mountain Dragon, but Zoom is taking these hits as Klid is working it down. SOFM is going to walk forward. Baron's already down, and there's the blue trinket as well. Logan gets in for more damage, but again, SOFM is right there. Yagao zones him away along with Lumao. True Shot Barrage for the initial burst of damage. SOFM trying to get in there, but Baron already goes down. Teleport from Flandre to join this. Zoom is healing happily back up. Maestro on the front. Yagao keeping Guoguo split. And there he goes. Flandre has found Klid. He's left forward. Stand United onto Klid, plus the Lamb's respite is going to stall this out. Klid heals it back up, and already the 2 kills go down. And Yagao is flanking from the side, chasing down the rest of these kills. The team fight team gets killed in the team fights, and Snake are running back to their hidey hole to try and survive. But Yagao, he wants the kill, and he will get it if he gets his way. But he does not get it, so he does not get his way.
But the damage has still been done. They take a massive team fight. They have the Baron, they have the Creep Wives, and they're going to do a lot of damage to Snake's base here.
Not even waiting for that minion wave to break down the middle inhibitor. Now the bottom inhibitor is still undefended, so they can easily rotate down there if they want to in between the waves, but instead they're just going to set themselves up with a nice 4-1 split and spend their gold before they try to break the game.
Taking another look at that, the fact that Snake were again late to another monster objective, that they don't have correct vision in this area, that there was no way for them to even try to contest this or to stall it out, means that they don't even get an opportunity to have SOFM look for a steal. Then from there,
easy chase. Ooh, did Guoguo flash into the wall?
We're just gonna ignore it.
Yeah, that hurts. Face first, we call that.
That's the Snake special at this point.
Yeah, exactly. Magi's picked up by Yagao. 4-0-3. Loken has finished off Blade of the Ruined King and now has got his Seraph's Embrace, excuse me, the Archangels to be turned into the Seraphs. As Klid finishes off the 4th dragon of the game for JD. They have just been dominating neutral objectives this entire set. But now they've got the Baron for about 100 seconds on the clock. And Snake, will they be able to defend and take a team fight, or will they find themselves falling apart? They're trying to collapse bottom right now.
And we've got 2 waves being forced in. It's the fact that Yagao has access to the TP, while JD Gaming are storming the castle on the top side. And SOFM, he finally's like, I've played this game of Chicken before, it went bad the first time, and I've learned my lesson. They pull their backs. And
with that, they will try to defend their base, but already the inhibitor turret breaks the inhib, follows right after. Zoom in the front, taking a lot. Yagao teleporting in. That's the Gargoyles. Knock up onto 2. Clid uses the respite early. Zoom is so massive. Uh-oh, Yagao goes forward, gets caught by the Glacial Storm as he steps in. Lumao chases it along with the rest of JD, but Loken is firing across shots. Yagao is looking for an opening. Flandre flashes in for the stun, but dies for his efforts. Gorgo running to the fountain will die as well. SOFM, the sole survivor, watches from its marble steps as his base cracks and crumbles, and JD take the victory, going to 9-2 in the standings.
But they did so going 2-0. JD Gaming have never been able to close out 2-0. They always drop a game in the series, and people said, it's experimentation. Nah, I thought it was laziness and inconsistency, but this time around, their focus is sharp, they came in, and they get it done.
And against Snake of all teams, the last team JD had a 2-0 against was Vici Gaming, which is to be expected from where Vici are currently sitting in the standings compared to how JD are performing. But to do it against Snake, and in such a dominant fashion, perhaps I know you like to discredit it, experimentation phase is over. We're at the end of week 6. We've got week 7, 8, and 9. One more week of cross-conference, and then it's back into regular conference play for this team. If they want to claim that first place spot, if they want to chase down RNG and IG, now's the time to show that they're serious.
It's a points-based system, so the 2-1s do hurt you, whereas the 2-0s give you more of a leapfrog potential over your competition. So JD Gaming, it's too close in the Eastern Conference. Invictus Gaming, RNG, things like the wire down to qualification points can be the make or break difference. And if they want to try to get a berth at Worlds, they need to be perfect.
Certainly a lot of pressure for JD if they want to try to make that final run and make themselves appear on that international stage. Again, a lot of these younger players putting on some very strong performances here in Summer Split with Coach Ohm, previously of Team WE, and it is working out for them. 15 kills to 6. Just a smooth, slow and steady gold graph. I would hike that mountain.
I mean, ultimately, it started in the jungle. They completely controlled SOFM. They got the Baron. They had 4 dragons. Like you said, they lost. Snake lost every single monster objective. Didn't even contest majority of them.
But for the Rift Herald.
The timing windows that JD Gaming had, the fact that they were always there, beating them to the punch, their vision was placed down correctly, that they just froze, held the lanes, their lanes were naturally winning. They were just indecisiveness from Snake. They basically passively lost the game.
And that's credit to JD to control the mad scientist of SOFM. Traditionally, he's known for having such crazy, wacky pathing, but in this game, he took a more standard route, and JD were happy to play around it by prioritizing Clid in the jungle, by prioritizing the follow-up from Yagao and Zoom, and of course, Loken and Mao. They just had to hold the fort in the bottom lane, and then they did that and more by transitioning into a strong mid game.
Yep, had the lanes isolated, naturally won, so credit to JD.
Yeah, big win by JD. Now it's time for our analyst to break down that JD series victory.
Was a big win for JD and a 2-0 victory for JD at that. They have had a very rocky split in the Summer Split, not necessarily in terms of the games they've won, but the sets they've played, often going to 3 games and often not looking clean in game 1 or 2.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time you would look at JD, and it was mentioned by the casters as well. You win game 1, you try something maybe a little bit different, or you do one thing differently in the second game, you lose it, so you come back in that third game all guns firing and just smash your opponent again. That's the idea for JD, but this is a clean 2-0. And it was a very clean one at that through their early game decisions that they made. But more importantly, even before those early game decisions, they drafted well. Once again, they picked themselves a strong composition, and it starts early and it starts strong, still with the Kindred priority. Now, that's the first thing that I want to look at before anything else. Whilst the Shen is a nice pick, the Kindred unlocks you to do anything. That is effectively going to fill the AD carry role for your team composition if you want it to. It can be a protective role that can sit there and kill tanks with your AD carry if you want it to. The world is your oyster when you pick a Kindred, and it's given to you for free. Your opponent's not really prioritizing that at all. Instead, they go for the Orianna. Now, Orianna has seemed to have replaced Swain almost completely in the LPL right now, has just risen above the ranks. Swain's still a good pick, still being seen, but Orianna seems to be the first and foremost priority above that Swain. So that's taken by Snake, and I can't fault them for that. But then they give over Shen and Kindred, and you're like, all right, no matter what happens now for JD's composition, people are not going to die. And so you have to pick something that can either burst them out, assassinate them, or something that can team fight consistently and beat their opponents in that. I don't think Snake did either of those things, where I think JD did both of those things by having the LeBlanc as their last pick for mid.
I mean, LeBlanc and Ezreal, those are 2 very slippery champions with plenty of gap closers to escape or close the distance, then the Shen, Dr. Mundo, and Kindred. It's not easy to kill that JD team at a team composition they definitely were happy to fight with. They also got the Kindred, as you talked about, which was crucial in tracking down SOFM and denying him reign over the jungle in this match.
Yeah, and again, the junglers meet each other, and Clid seems to come out on top. A lot of this started through the fight that happened in top lane at 6 odd minutes into the game. Now, this fight was really big because SOFM was looking at top lane a couple of times, and the one moment that they find a chance, Clid comes up to the top lane, and they get themselves the kill onto Flandre. Now, he has no flash. He's just teleported back into the top lane, and Loken, immediately from base with his tier Cull power spike, comes into top lane with no hesitation, with the big items in the back pocket, and they get themselves the kills. And the reason that this is so important to me, as SOFM does trade on the backside here, is that if you watch the VODs there, you watch the tape, Loken, almost no hesitation. He's back in base. The fight was timed perfectly for JD, and he's top lane before anyone else can be there. Third member means a great deal, gives them the second kill on Flandre, ultimately nets them the following kill as well on SOFM, and then gives them first turret gold on the backside. So JD, in terms of timing, in terms of their entire map's positioning, if the bottom lane's role is just to be defensive and not die, they were doing that. But then they went above and beyond by being able to teleport to where the fights were, first and very much on time.
Yeah, very quick teleports at that coming out from Loken. No hesitation at all, but it was set up by Clid picking up the Kindred in the jungle. He also picks up MVP for that second match. Surprise, surprise! It's Yagao as well as Clid who pick up MVP during this best of 3 series.
And we said it'd be the top side that is the most important part here for JD before the set even started. If Zoom's able to play well, then definitely they'll find kills, but Zoom was just on the tanks, and it was the jungle and the mid laner who put in the brunt of the damage and most of the work. I think Clid, through this whole set, has been deserving of the MVP, where there are star performances around him, of course, with the rest of the team. This is one of those moments where you look at JD and you say the whole team looks strong through that victory as well.
I mean, it was a very strong start coming out from JD, and the final few fights at the end of match 2 were quite strong as well, proving that they are one of the best team fighting teams in the LPL at the moment.
And this is what happens if you give a Mundo a lead as well. You'll notice that he'll never die. Clid's supported, but even past the Lamb's Respite, watch the Shen ultimate used onto him in the middle of combat. Mal's able to find his target of Clid as he dashes forwards during a combo. Like, that cohesion, that team synergy is so noticeable at 4 minutes in the game when you see the first highlight, and at 34 minutes in the game when you see the end of the game. JD, in terms of team play, are keeping up with the best.
Yeah, which is very crucial for JD because they are one of the top 5 teams in the LPL when it comes to score at the moment. They've only dropped 2 matches so far, a better record than RNG and EDG at the moment.
Yeah, they've even beaten RNG, and for me, you know, fundamentally, when I look at JD Gaming, they are a team pushing for the top 4 spot. Frostgreen definitely believes now that they're above someone like EDG. I think that the only teams that can challenge JD are those top 4 teams, because you need to have the team play as well as the individual skill to keep up with what JD are throwing at you right now.
Well, they made a late playoff run during Spring Split. Now JD are looking to solidify their playoff run for Summer Split during cross-conference. Playing well so far, but that's only the second match we have today. We're going into a little bit longer of a break, but we will be back with RNG taking on TOP up next.
让我们把故事传唱下去，继续书写 RNG 的传说。